I just wanted to say that Keir Starmer's not doing very well at the moment, is he? His poll rating is lower than Johnson's, even though Johnson's just been through all that booing and outside the thing and vote of no confidence. But do you get the feeling that the left can't get rid of Starmer and only the right can?
At the moment, yes. I think there is no alternative for the left at the moment. That's the biggest problem. The Labour Party, in my view, has been completely destroyed now. There's the left inside Labour, I don't think stands a realistic chance of being able to beat the system to come back and take over. So I think inside Labour, that's going to be a very difficult proposition. Interestingly, today in PMQs, I'm seeing it all over Twitter now, Starmer basically said that Boris Johnson was the Conservatives' Corbyn. He was using Corbyn as an insult against Boris Johnson. And everybody's like, really, did you actually just do that? So Starmer is absolutely desperate to resort to tactics like that. He is so desperate. So
do you want to tell us what there might be some kind of plot to get rid of Starmer and what that's all about?
Yes. So I've got a few little bits to get through today. I'll go as quick as I can for you, Crispin. Right. I'm just going to share my screen. Bear with me, folks. So hopefully you can all see this. Can you see this? Is this on the screen, Crispin? Just to check.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good stuff. So why has the right decided to dump Starmer in favour of Wes Streeting? In short, I love this picture of him. It's like, hi, I'm Wes Streeting. I'm beautiful. This piece in the Financial Times kind of kicked a lot of this off. It's a massive puff piece on him, positioning him as a leader. There are very powerful forces aligning behind Wes Streeting as a potential challenger to Keir Starmer. At the moment, he's denying it, but not very hard. He's really being quite soft on it. The problem with Starmer, as you alluded to, is that his poll ratings are tanking. And there was an incident in a parliamentary meeting the other day where Starmer basically had to turn around and go, "Stop calling me boring." And he's having to say this to his own people, which I think is absolutely fun.
You made it sound too exciting. Stop calling me boring. That's all.
That's literally how it would have come out. And the problem is that the public agree, that they think he's boring. An opinion poll for The Observer on Sunday found that voters believe Boris Johnson still makes a better prime minister than Starmer would by 28% to 26%. Though Labour consistently leads the Tories when it comes to voting intention, allegedly. And this is in The Guardian. So for The Guardian to have turned on Starmer like this, I think there's serious problems afoot. And at the top, it says several of those around the table then echoed their leaders' calls for unity and discretion in a lengthy exchange described by one shadow frontbencher as, ironically, very boring. Starmer has been accused by senior colleagues in recent days of failing to articulate clearly what Labour stands for or to infuse the public about his leadership. Now, it's very clear his polling is tanking, and I think there's widespread belief that he can't win an election. It's that simple. Nobody has faith that Starmer can lead the Labour Party into a successful election. And there are significant whispers that outriders of Streeting were responsible for this briefing. So in short, this is a leadership challenge in all but name. The only other option that it could be is what's known as a stalking horse, where they create a potential threat to his leadership and force him in a particular direction of policy. So there are very powerful forces manipulating the Labour Party in a certain direction.
So do you think this comment on Corbyn today might be relating to that he's trying to prove that he's anti-left or something to make them feel he's one of them or something? I don't know.
Absolutely. They're gunning for Corbyn, they're gunning for the left, they're gunning for everything socialism. And now we'll find out why. Because Wes Streeting did a video, and it was for the Institute for Government, which is a lovely think tank, which is backed by Lords and Lady Whatsit and Hingledy Pink and all sorts of other people. And they've got lots and lots of money, and they like to tell people how to run the government. in favor of corporations, right-wing agendas, that sort of stuff. And Wes Streeting did a video, a talk with these guys that was streamed live on the internet on the 7th of June. This was after the Financial Times article, but before the Guardian article. So very clearly, this was part of his pitch, as people saw on Question Time and other places, for leadership of the Labour Party. In this video, he doesn't make one mention of the NHS being free at the point of consumption. He doesn't make a single mention of reversing privatisation, and he focuses on reform and accountability in this video, which translates as getting return on investment. You know, he's basically making the case that the NHS should be treated like a business rather than a public utility. Wow. Then he goes on to say these things, and these are quotes, direct quotes from this video. He says, you know, it's about using the private sector to bring down NHS waiting lists. It's about, you know, he says, I don't think the British people would buy an ideological argument for not investing in private sector stuff to shore up the NHS. And then he says, you know, it's about making sure you are paying for people to get care as fast as possible within the NHS, whether that is using the private sector or not is a left-wing position. He's alleging that using right-wing subcontractors and essentially privatising the NHS is a left-wing position.
Right, yeah.
We'd probably disagree with that, wouldn't we?
Nye Bevan's well on that, isn't he? Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. He'd be spinning in his grave, bless him. And then this was the bit that really got me. He said, I think private providers have said that where we are at the moment, they are doing less NHS work now than they were pre-pandemic, and they're in a position to deliver 130% more treatment in terms of capacity than they were pre-pandemic. He might as well have done the Buddy Christ maneuver afterwards and gone, hey, you know, he's basically sitting there going, we've got capacity, you know, send us your money. And interestingly, if only he was getting paid for this kind of lobbying. If only there was some kind of funding that he was getting that would excuse this, you know, absolutely blatant lobbying on behalf of private healthcare providers. This is where we get onto this. So Squawk Box broke the news the other day that a hedge fund owner, which is a massive investor in private US healthcare, has donated £15,000 to Shadow Health Secretary Wes Streeting. So now we understand why he's gone on record lobbying for private healthcare companies to be even more deeply involved in the NHS. And you know, it's all part of his big vision for Labour's healthcare programme, you know, under Starmer, allegedly under Starmer. Because in this video, he goes to great lengths to try and say, you know, we're still left wing, we're still believing in a public NHS, but we've got to have accountability and return on investment, treat it like a business, blah, blah, blah. So in short, it's not looking good. You know, we've got a potential incoming leader. And interestingly, during this video, he makes lots of references to Jeremy Hunt. And you know, it appears that there is a future, you know, like a, you know, Boris Johnson versus Starmer, you know, Streeting versus Hunt battle emerging. They're already briefing against the future leader of the Conservative Party from the person they believe is the future leader of the Labour Party. It's completely bonkers. So that's what I've got to say on that. And there's one little thing I want to share because it's very important. So I'll just get the right screen up. This is some stuff from the Grey Zone. We've been featuring some of their articles recently because talking about Paul Mason and the leaks from his email accounts and various other bits and bobs. In short, what this has exposed in the latest expose, the latest tranche of stuff they've released, it's talking about Paul Mason working hand in hand with a chap called Andy Price, who is basically the head of a secretive MI6 organization, which has been built to counter disinformation. Now, that would probably include anything left wing, basically. So, you know, they are the government unit that's been set up to counter anything that is socialist, anything that is, you know, against the government and the relevant organization's agenda and what they're trying to get in place. And interestingly, down here, I'll just get to the right bit on this. Where are we? There we go. Mason was referring to Andy Price, the head of the British Foreign Office's Counter Disinformation and Media Development Unit, which was founded in April 2016. Do you know anything else that happened significantly around that point, Crispin?
April 2016, was that the Brexit vote plus Jeremy Corbyn getting lined up for a leadership challenge?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It's interesting that was set up at the same time around then. So that means that Mason has been directly coordinating his campaign of subversion against the UK left wing with a senior intelligence official. So has Price been his handler? And the evidence is suggesting that he might well have been. There's all sorts of twos and fro's about this on the internet. It's very difficult to get a clear picture. But in short, it looks like the Labour Party now has a very, very clear picture emerging of intelligence people inside the Labour Party, MPs being linked to the CIA, MI5, etc., staff members being linked to MI6, MI5, CIA. We've got people working within the Labour Together organisation who are former CIA, Mossad employees, various other organisations, including British intelligence outfits. It's very clear that there is an intelligence-led movement that has built to stop Labour from going anywhere near the left or in a direction that they do not agree with or support. And it's very important that we all recognise that that is what has happened. And anything we do going forwards takes that into account. It's very important. That's me done for today, Crispin.
Oh, thank you for that cheerful roundup there.